It's time, Fort Wayne. Your sports, your station. It's the Sports Rush with Brett Rump. Covering all the topics that hit a nerve here in the Summit City.
Clark, 11-yard touchdown.
Only on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Now here's your host, Brett Rump.
The greatest, most interesting, most important person of all time.
You are incredible. Over the point. Yeah, well, that's right.
What is this, amateur hour?
This is going to be huge.
I believe this is going to be our final song.
One friend is smoking.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
I think that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
That boy ain't right.
The simplest way to put it, I have problems.
Welcome to the alleged show.
Here we go, taking you home on a hump day. It is a Wednesday edition of the Sports Rush, your daily local sports fix, 4 to 6. I am Brett Rump, along with Adam Lundy, and we've got you connected on the Parkview Sports Medicine text line. Might have some nasty weather. All indications, we've got some freezing rain that's going to be moving into our area later tonight, and as a result, there is a postponement of girls basketball sectionals tonight at Concordia, where East Noble was scheduled to play Concordia at 6, DeKalb Garrett at 7:30, and those two games will take place at the same time tomorrow night. And so it will be back to back to back. They'll have to win 3 games in 3 nights if any of those 4 teams is going to win a sectional, because East Noble, Concordia, DeKalb Garrett have been moved to tomorrow night.
Hey, nothing wrong with showing an abundance of caution with just how bad they're talking about how bad the roads could get tonight. So, hey, nothing wrong with playing it one day later, being safe.
260-447-8500, the Parkview Sports Medicine text line. And, of course, we're taking your text on what you think about the status of Mike Woodson and what happened last night to the Indiana Hoosiers. Hoosiers just did not come ready to play. They were out-physicaled, out-toughed. I mean, I was surprised at just how much bully ball Wisconsin was able to get away with against the Indiana Hoosiers. In fact, at one point, they drove down the lane and a little shoulder bump into Mackenzie Mbako about knocked him into the front row. And, you got to play physical. You got to, Coach Kaufman says it all the time. The tougher team is going to win on the road. You've got to be the tougher team. And last night, Indiana was far from it. Purdue, I thought they were the tougher team, especially Braden Smith, who put up 31 points.
Yeah, no question.
But last night, Indiana was not the tougher team, and Indiana falls to Wisconsin, extending that streak that goes back to 1998 with a 76-64 loss at Madison in the Kohl Center.
Yeah, and I just think that, the fact that Indiana once again came out flat in this game and allowed Wisconsin to get off to such a big lead in the first half kind of allowed Indiana to feel like they had to play catch up the entire game, and it kind of took them away from their normal offensive plan. I thought it led to too many three-pointers, and like you said, too many missed three-pointers. I mean, just look at Mackenzie Mbako. He was 5 of 13 from the field. 8 of his shots, 1 of 7 from three-point range. So I think he got into the three-point ball too much. I think a lot of everybody just got too much three-pointers trying to catch up with the Wisconsin Badgers. Not enough Umar Ballo, 4 points, 1 of 3 from the field. So I feel like they just kind of abandoned what's worked for them in the past, trying to get back into this game.
260-447-8500 coming up tonight. We've got Mastodons basketball. And we were talking about this earlier, that Mastodons women's basketball has had such an unbelievable season under Maria Marchesano. I tell you what, Bloomington, there you go. Want to go do something crazy.
There you go.
And maybe you give Terry Morin the men's job. No, don't hire Maria. What am I thinking?
Yeah, you're going crazy.
Yeah, I am going crazy.
Keep her here. Lifetime coach, Greg Gampy style.
It's all about the players here at Purdue Fort Wayne. Has nothing to do with the coaching. We want to keep her here. No, seriously, what a job that the entire organization and program has done in turning around what was a bottom feeder in Division I basketball. And now in the women's basketball NCAA net ranking, the Purdue-Fort Wayne Mastodons find themselves in the top 100. Now, remember, you got 360-some teams in Division I basketball. Or not most, but a lot of those are power conference teams that have huge funding and recruiting advantages. And so to be in the top 100 as a mid-major, just unbelievable. Green Bay, in fact, who hasn't lost since the Mastodons knocked them off in early December. Mm-hmm. Green Bay is 6 spots ahead of Purdue-Fort Wayne at number 89. And those two teams play the final game of the regular season.
The scheduling drama always coming through.
Well, the men are going to be at Cleveland State, the final game of the regular season. And right now, the men are in second, Cleveland State's in first, but there's like 2.5 games, 3 games of separation between Cleveland State and Purdue-Fort Wayne men. But on the women's side, it is just 1 game of separation, and that's because the Mastodons beat Green Bay earlier this year, and it might go all the way down to that final game with still the Horizon League Championship on the line.
How cool is that, man? You just really do have to feel proud of this program and what Maria Marchesano's done to turn it around.
Now, here's the thing about the women in the Horizon League. You clearly have 3 front runners. Cleveland State, Green Bay, Purdue-Fort Wayne. I don't think there's any question. Those 3 are head and shoulders above everybody else in the Horizon League. In fact, those 3, what have they combined for just 1 loss against anybody else? But when you look at Oakland, they're 4th in the league right now, and they're the next opponent for Purdue-Fort Wayne. They will play on Thursday at the Gate Center. So it actually is a battle of 2 teams that might make it in the top 4. But that said, Purdue-Fort Wayne beat Oakland by 40 points when they played up in Oakland.
Yeah.
And so that gives you an idea of the amount of separation between those top 3 and the 4th team. So what does that mean as far as seeding? You desperately want to hold on to the number 1 seed because you want to play whoever the 4th seed might be in a semifinal down at Corteva Fieldhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. So
you don't want to get stuck against either Green Bay or Cleveland State in a 2-3 game for a semifinal.
No. You
don't want to see them until the championship, so you only have to play one of them. But anyway, it's key for the Mastodons to try to keep this win streak going. They've won 15 in a row and are 13-0 in Horizon League play, and they're in action at the Gate Center coming up this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Once again, Concordia Sectional tonight has been postponed from tonight to tomorrow night. Same schedule with the games at 6 and 7:30, but 24 hours later due to the impending potential ice storm that's anticipated to hit our area coming up somewhere around 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. And if you're going to be out on the roads tonight, please be careful. And I wonder what Wright State is going to do after the game tonight.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure, but if they do go home tonight, we do wish them safe travels after the game.
All right, so what else is... Sunday or Saturday. It's the big one down in Bloomington. Are you thinking what I'm talking about? We've talked about it the whole hour.
I had to think about it for half a second.
Dusty May coming to town coaching his Michigan Wolverines against Mike Woodson's IU Hoosiers, and I think the crowd is going to relentlessly boo one coach and cheer wildly for the other. And the irony here is the coach that will be cheered for will be the visiting coach.
This is where we've gotten in the Indiana Hoosiers basketball season. We're more excited for the coaches' introductions drama than we are the actual basketball game.
Last night just was an ugly performance, especially early as Indiana fell behind 26-4, 7.5 minutes into the game.
Where's the motivation, you know?
Yeah, I mean, where's the fight? Where's the go-to? What kind of plays are you running? And again, when you're getting down 26-4, and this is the 3rd game, because I was reminded the Hoosiers had this kind of game at Louisville or against Louisville in the MTE event. Was that the Bahamas or what? That was in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And then they had the same type of performance early against Illinois, and then they did it on the road against Wisconsin. But you got to be ready to go from the opening tip, and you've got to match the intensity and the physicality of your opponent. Last night, Indiana did not do that, and so it wasn't about late-game execution because they weren't in the game late. They were down 16 to 18 points through most of that second half and eventually lose it 76-64 to Wisconsin. But today also, National Signing Day, which used to be this huge event where fans would lock in to find out how many stars everybody got, what wars did they win to get recruiting battles won. And it doesn't seem like there's that same kind of energy around National Signing Day.
No, I mean, with all the transfer portal and just early signings and all the different things now that move players from one team to another, we see smaller freshman classes. We see all that sort of thing. So it has definitely dampened some of the excitement of these signing days.
All right. We were talking about some of the prop bets that you can place for this Sunday's Super Bowl. So, Adam, let's go ahead and give me some others because I feel like so far we've covered a lot of the in-game props.
Right.
Player passing, player catching, player running. What else could we bet on for this Sunday?
Let's go to the fun ones here. This is a favorite of many. It's the Gatorade bath odds. You're guessing on the color of the Gatorade that will be dumped on to the winning coach. Taking a look at this year's odds, your favorite this year is purple at plus 225.
You know why?
Why?
I heard someone say earlier today, the last 2 years with Kansas City winning championships, both years, Andy Reid got dumped with purple Gatorade.
Very interesting. So that's why purple's at your favorite at plus 225. Some other colors, if you want to go with yellow/green/lime, that's at plus 250. Orange plus 400. Blue plus 650. Red or pink at plus 650. Clear or water at plus 900. No Gatorade bath at plus 2,500. Any of those spiking your interest besides purple?
Orange always seems to be one of the more common favorites.
Orange at plus
What's
400.
your favorite flavor of Gatorade?
I like the light blue, the Arctic blue.
I do like the purple, but I think my favorite is the red.
Fruit punch.
Yeah.
Classic. All right. Let's do the national anthem length. The over-under for the national anthem this year is set at 120.5 seconds, so a minute and 20 seconds.
That is quick.
quick.
I mean, we've had years where it's been like a minute 50, minute 47.
The anthem singer is Jon Batiste, a Grammy-winning jazz and R&B singer and pianist. I feel like they kind of like to get a little bit more artsy and stretch things out.
I don't know. You know this subject apparently better than I do.
I don't know. I think jazz, I think of long
When's the last jazz pianist concert you've attended?
I've never attended a jazz concert.
So you're sitting here talking like you know exactly what jazz pianists are trying to accomplish. The odds would say over.
I'm taking the over, yeah. It's minus 150 on the over.
I mean, the average is like a 128, 129. And we know that because what do we do, Adam, when we do our pre-games is we always time the national anthem. To a minute and a half. And so most national anthems are real close to a minute and a half. And what's the over-under?
120 and a half. So a minute, 20 and a half.
Yeah. That's just smoking through it. I got to go over.
All right. Some other national anthem betting odds here. Will Jon Batiste perform with a piano? Yes or no?
Really?
Yeah. Yes is at minus 400. No is at plus 290.
Well, if he performs with a piano, it's definitely over.
Yeah.
So this is where do you want to hedge the bet? But I would say, I don't know. I don't even know who this guy is.
Yeah.
But how many times have we ever had a singer that has played on the piano for a national anthem? So I think the odds are that it would be no.
Okay. And will a player or coach cry during the anthem? Yes is at minus 670. No is at plus 420.
No.
All right. You're taking a no. No criers.
No, I don't. I mean, you're going to have emotion, but I don't know that you'll have tears.
All right. Let's do a couple more here. One or two more.
One more.
All right.
Pick the best one.
All right. Any kick attempt to hit the upright or the crossbar? Yes is at plus 550, and no is at minus 800. Will there be a doink?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. But you're not going to put any money on it.
I just don't feel like it's that common.
Sure thing.
So I'll go no. There you go.
All right.
Some of the props that you can look forward to for Sunday's Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs looking for the three-peat against the Philadelphia Eagles. Coming up next, we talked to the Lafayette Journal and Courier, Sam King, to break down Purdue's win last night on the road at Iowa and what's happening with Boilermaker football under Coach Barry Odom. That's next here on the Sports Rush on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Welcome back to the Sports Rush, your daily local sports fix 4 to 6 with Brett Rump and Adam Lundy taking you home on this Wednesday. We're getting you over the hump, 3 down, 2 to go with your work week. And, of course, last night we had a chance to see both Indiana and Purdue in action. Today, National Signing Day. It's also National Women and Girls in Sports National Holiday or Day, whatever. So it's a busy day in the sports calendar. And to talk about a little bit of everything, it is Sam King from the Lafayette Journal and Courier. He just recently attended new Purdue football coach Barry Odom's presser to talk about National Signing Day. And, Sam, where is Purdue as far as picking up pieces that Barry Odom can get? This used to be a huge day, right? Everybody counted down, and the whole season was riding on how you did on National Signing Day. Now with the transfer portal, this has lost a little luster, but how did Purdue do?
Well, as far as incoming freshmen, it's a small class, which you would expect when you look at all of the players that left Purdue through the transfer portal, and then obviously taking into account that it's a new coaching staff. So in all, it's 40 incoming new players that were announced today. 11 of those are incoming freshmen, but 29 transfers. And, the unique thing was Barry Odom didn't really mention anybody specific by name. And it sounds like Purdue may not be done yet. There's still some positions that it sounds like there are some holes to fill, which is there's a portal window that opens up again after the spring season. So I would suspect that there will be more to come. Don't know how many, but it's not over yet for sure.
Well, and sometimes, too, I think coaches are a little nervous about starting to bark out some names because some of those guys may not have gotten their national letter of intent. And I don't know why NIL and NLI is so close because it gets confusing. But a lot of NLIs having to come in. How many does Purdue have freshmen that have already enrolled? Well, I don't know Purdue's school calendar, so I don't know if their semester started already. But I know it's common that a handful of freshmen might get in there early. Does Purdue have that situation?
Yes. There are, out of the 40 newcomers, 35, I believe, are already here on campus, enrolled in school. There are 2 players who signed today who obviously they're not here yet, and then 3 others who I believe were actually kids who committed to Ryan Walters' staff previously, who are still in high school and going to finish out the high school year, it sounds like. So, but yeah, for the most part, you're hitting the ground running because a lot of people are here in January going through the training stuff until spring football begins, and then those kids get a head start on going into the fall season.
Sam King, Lafayette Journal and Courier, joining us. Any last-minute surprises, either additions or subtractions, guys Purdue didn't get that they expected, anything like that?
Purdue did add a defensive back who probably wasn't well-known last night. Part of that probably stems from the fact that Purdue had a freshman who already was on campus get arrested last week. So that's not a good sign, and just kind of replaced him with another defensive back that came in. So not a good situation, but you made the most of it by getting somebody else. So that would be the only thing.
Let's talk basketball, because right now things going pretty well for Purdue. They get the road win at Iowa City, and it doesn't matter what Iowa's record is. This is always a tough building to go snag a win. And Iowa played with a lot of energy and a lot of confidence early, and they've been playing pretty well of late. Purdue found a way, though, to gut out a win, and it was pretty much behind Braden Smith. He was just plain spectacular last night.
Yeah, absolutely. And had Trey Kaufman-Wren not gotten into foul trouble early in that game, it might have been a different story, because I think he had 6 of Purdue's first 7 field goals, and it was pretty apparent that Iowa had no answer for him under the basket. But then he gets the foul trouble, and the only thing holding Purdue's head above water for that first half really was Braden Smith, and that just carried over. It was contagious in the second half when he just went on a kind of a hot streak. It looked like he had a look in his eye, like, I'm not going to let this team lose this game today. And, it's not every day that he's going to go out and give you 31 points, but I guess the best comment that came out of that was Matt Painter in the post-game press conference saying Braden Smith is a winner, whether it's been high school, AAU, college, and he's going to do what it takes to win. And last night it took him being aggressive offensively and taking a lot of shots. And it really was probably needed in a place where Iowa had two guys that were also lighting up the scoreboard. You needed somebody besides Trey Kaufman-Renn to be a scorer, and then you get kind of an anomaly with Braden Smith shooting 11 to 15 from the field.
What was the exchange for Braden Smith? It seemed like to me as I watched the game, there was somebody under the basket down at Purdue's end of the floor that apparently he and Braden Smith were exchanging some words. And after the game, I saw Braden Smith shouting a few things that direction. Was there anything said about what was going on in that confrontation?
There was not anything said about it. There's a lot of trash talk throughout the course of the game. What Braden said after the game, which you're probably referring to, probably isn't suitable for radio. But, there was a lot of chirping. And then, ultimately when you trash talk, the guy who has more points at the end and is on the winning side gets the final word. So I think that's kind of just what happened there. And it's a thing where people try to get in people's heads all the time. And I just think that Braden Smith is a guy who kind of feeds off of that, and probably, if that was the case last night, didn't work out in Iowa's favor.
Well, Purdue moves on now. They've got USC coming into town. It's another Friday night Big Ten game, and I hate them because there's no chance to see them because of high school basketball commitments for not only me but the radio station. So to talk about USC, they got a huge win last weekend against Michigan State. Now, that was out in Los Angeles because, of course, at Media Day in the football season, we did learn that USC is in L.A., But when they won that game, I thought that's Musselman. That's basically just, grind it out, play a really tough team, and just try to out-tough them. And that's kind of what I think Purdue will expect. It'll be a little bit of a battle of toughness, don't you think?
Yeah, and USC is actually in Mackey Arena right now, and I'm sitting down in the Mackey Arena media room. USC was practicing when I came in here today, so already putting a plan together to beat Purdue. And those LA schools really have done Purdue a favor here in the last few days, catapulting the Boilermakers to the top of the Big Ten standings, with Michigan State losing at USC and then losing at UCLA last night. So definitely not a pushover team by any means, but I would expect this. Matt Painter's gone against Musselman before, so he knows what he's going up against. But I just think that Purdue realizes that it's stubbed its toe at home against Ohio State and can't afford, if it's going to win this conference, to lose another home game the rest of the way.
Sam, I know you're locked in on the Purdue Boilermakers. You do a great job of covering Purdue, but you're in the state of Indiana. There's a rival that's just down the road, and I've got to ask the question about what is going on at Indiana. If you have any perspective or if you care to add anything to our conversation here at the Sports Rush.
Well, not being involved or around that program, just from an outsider's perspective, it seems like there's a lot of dysfunction. And, what happened here at Mackey Arena was a very inspired effort. The Hoosiers really had a chance to win that game. And then you see Umar Bello walk off the floor without shaking hands with any of the Purdue players or anything like that, and visibly frustrated at teammates for taking the final shot with a chance to win the game. So I just think there's a lot of turmoil going on there, and sometimes I wonder how that happens. That's, something that probably I lose perspective of because I'm around Purdue all the time, which has a great culture, and kind of this, you just come in and do your job, and ultimately you win a lot of games. When you put a team together on the fly like Indiana tried to do, sometimes that can kind of blow up in your face a little bit, and it seems like that's what's happening there.
Well, all those things that you talked about, the chemistry, the culture, and, who's the one that's supposed to take the last shot, it all comes down to coaching. Does Mike Woodson survive the season?
Like a week ago, and everybody was upset then. And I said, if you look at Indiana's record and just take off the history and all of that stuff, Indiana's had a decent year. But I know the expectations are a little bit different there, and things haven't really gotten better over 4 years with the coach in charge. So, right now, I can't imagine that he's going to come back and I imagine with Dusty May going to Assembly Hall that it could get quite loud in there, just because Indiana fans were probably a year ago wishing that guy was coaching the Hoosiers.
That is going to be the storyline, I think. I think it's actually going to be more intriguing to watch that game up to tip-off than maybe what you actually see when the two teams start playing. I think the real storyline is how does that crowd voice its displeasure toward Woodson, its love of Dusty May, and I think you're going to have a very expressive Assembly Hall crowd come Saturday. Sam, always appreciate you. You always do a great job covering the Boilermakers, and we are thrilled when you take a few minutes to join us on the show. So thanks a lot, and we'll keep in touch.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yep. That is Sam King joining us here on the Sports Rush. He works for the Lafayette Journal and Courier, so he is right there in the heart of West Lafayette, not only following the Boilermakers, but hanging out at USC's practice today.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Well, USC played, Northwestern?
Yeah, they're around the area. So.
And so they don't play the Boilermakers till Friday, so they're not going to fly all the way back to Los Angeles. So they came in, and they're using Mackey Arena for a couple of extra days of practice. Not a bad thing. Not a bad idea.
At all. Get used to those sight lines.
Yep. We'll take a time out. We come back. Plenty of things to talk about, including our high school basketball schedule for Friday night. Big game coming up, big doubleheader coming up at the Coliseum on Saturday. Plenty more. It's the Sports Rush Wednesday edition on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Welcome back to the Sports Rush, your daily local sports fix, 4 to 6. It is a big hump day. Got college basketball out at the Coliseum. Got some nasty weather supposed to be coming in just a little while. And, of course, if you're going to be out and about tonight, please be safe. Do not be in any kind of hurry. You know, the worst thing you can probably drive on is freezing rain. So be careful with that. Also, be prepared that, you might want to understand what the game plan is going to be if you lose power. Do you have the candles? Do you have flashlights? I would prefer flashlights over candles, especially if you live in my apartment complex. I just don't want to burn the place down. But tonight could have some tough weather. We'll have Mastodons basketball right here tonight at 6:45, the pregame show, 7 o'clock tip. And if these two have any kind of game like they did the first time they met up, it is going to be some kind of basketball game at the Coliseum. The Mastodons in Wright State ended up going double overtime, and the Mastodons won at 120-113. It never should have been a double overtime, and the Mastodons pulled off a miracle just to extend the game past one overtime when they were down 5 with 11 seconds left, and then they ended up with a steal on full court pressure in the corner of the backcourt. Whitmore Robertson got his hand on the ball. Jalen Jackson went to the corner on a double team. He retrieved it. Immediately, he drove right to the basket, laid it in, and the Mastodons forced the second overtime, which is when they actually were able to prevail. 120-113, and that's a lot of points, even for an overtime game. I don't think there's been a college Division I game with two Division I opponents that has put up 120 points this year.
It's a lot of points. I mean, like you said, so really high scoring action. And like you said, it was really heroics there from Jalen Jackson and get the ball back and tie it up. So we'll see how it goes tonight. I think it'll be another fun one at the Coliseum tonight.
Number 1 and number 2 in the league in field goal percentage. Number 1 and number 2 in 3-point percentage. The Mastodons are, top 5 in the country in 3-point field goals per game. They're also, I think, top 10 or something in the country in 3-point percentage. I mean, and Wright State right there with them. I mean, these are two really good shooting, very offensive teams. And then you've also got some of the best individual talent in the Horizon League with Brandon Knoll, about a 6'9" big man who plays the perimeter. He can shoot the three. He can drive. He'll set screen and rolls. He'll have a pick and pop. Just a lot of different ways they can utilize Brandon Knoll. And, of course, the Mastodons with Rasheed Bello and Jalen Jackson. And so I'm looking forward to this one tonight. Join us on the air if you're not in person at 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM starting at 6:45. By the way, that Sunday doubleheader, how cool is that?
Very cool.
I mean, you've got, sometimes it's like, well, at least the women's program's going to have a chance to put a few people in the seats. Because for years, the women's program, 8 years, 7, 8 years, the women's program was sub 500. And at one point, they almost went winless for an entire season. But what Maria Marchesano has done with Purdue Fort Wayne, absolutely amazing. They are now 18-5 on the season. They have won 15 straight games. They have won 13 straight in the Horizon League, 13-0 in first place. And they will be hosting Wright State on Saturday. And it will be the first game of a doubleheader. And this is the only chance you have all year long to catch the men and the women on the same ticket.
Like you said, when we were talking about it yesterday, it's just dollar for dollar, one of the best values for any sporting event, and amount of value and amount of fun you get per dollar. 2
Division I basketball teams that are in first and second place, respectively, in the Horizon League that have a combined record of 34-13, that are combined in the Horizon League 22-4. I mean, it's quality basketball that we've got right here in the Summit City. And you get a chance to see 2 teams back-to-back, 4 o'clock for the women, 7 o'clock for the men on Saturday. You get to see Fox Sports radio host Doug Gottlieb. You get to see Mastodon's radio voice Brett Rump. That'll bring them out in droves, won't it?
Oh, that's the number one draw other than the basketball.
They'll be lining up at the ticket office now. No, but seriously, it is a great value for $15. You can get a ticket that's basically 4 or 5 rows up right at center court. $15, and it's 2 games. $15, both games, unbelievable. So hope to see you at the Coliseum coming up this Saturday. So it is high school basketball sectional time, and of course we've got some games that have already started, or some sectionals that have already started.
Yeah.
And so we've already got some teams that have advanced to the Friday semifinals. There's going to be more action in our area tonight. Kind of surprised that some of the places didn't try to move up the game times, try to get these games at like 5 and 6:30 as opposed to 6 and 7. It's just the weather, you know. You got and in sectionals sometimes you got to go an hour away, and what we're being told is 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock is when there's the potential for the rain to come in?
Yeah, it's supposed to start by then, and then I think it's supposed to start freezing by about 10 or so. So we'll see.
So coming up on Friday, we are going to plant ourselves at Northrop. I heard Northrop change things up. You know, I haven't been there for a long time, but I got a message today that we will have a table up in the corner of the gym, which I don't know. I'll do my best to see what's happening.
Make it happen.
You know, the biggest problem for me in the corner is not that I can't see, because now that I got the glasses, it's the dang case that I got to carry up all those stairs with my knees going bad. The case is like 43 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I've carried that thing once or twice myself, my friend.
So I'm thinking, who do I know that's going to be going by Northrop that I just want out of the goodness of their heart help an old guy take the case up?
Who wants to help?
Won't be you.
No. Come on. You think I want to help? Of course, I'm always here to help.
I know the sarcasm in that.
There is a little bit.
Yeah, I know. All right, so tomorrow, so Friday we've got Northrop versus Northside.
Yeah.
That's a 6 o'clock game.
Yep.
Then a brief break of about 20-25 minutes, and we'll have Snyder Carroll playing for the second time in like a week, because they played late in the regular season, and now they're playing first round of sectional play. So that is our Parkview Sports Medicine high school basketball games of the week. 6 and 7:45 roughly. I don't know if they I think they call it 7:30, but it usually it's closer to 7:40, 7:45. But we'll have 2 games back to back with about 20 to 25 minutes in between, and then we'll go to the Pine Valley Pizza Hut for our post-game show. We will be joined by Eric Dudkevich. We'll have the area sectional semifinal scores, and we will set you up for Championship Saturday right here at 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM. Now, we will not have that Saturday broadcast for the girls' championship. Why? Because we've got Purdue Fort Wayne playing Green Bay, and so we'll have that broadcast Saturday. But did you see this weekend lineup?
No, I didn't. What do we got?
Well, Friday, just told you, girls sectional basketball.
Yeah.
And we've got the double header, plus we've got the post-game show. Then after the post-game show, we've got Indiana Sports Talk, and that'll be at 10:30. But also, Purdue plays USC. It's another Friday night for Purdue basketball.
Oh, yeah.
And they will be on the air on our sister station, WOWO 92.3 FM. 7 o'clock tip, Friday night, Purdue, USC on WOWO 92.3 FM. Then Saturday, Best of the Sports Rush at 8 o'clock. Talking Sports with Shevlin at 9 a.m. Golf with Jay Delsing at 10 a.m. Indiana, Michigan. Oh, it's going to be an interesting day at Assembly Hall.
Why is that? No one's coming.
I told you, first of all, I think Dusty's going to get a huge cheer. I think Mike Woodson's going to get a big boo. I don't think fans are happy at all with Mike Woodson or this basketball team, but the fall guy is Mike Woodson. And I think that's appropriate. I mean, we were talking to someone here in the building and said, if players don't understand what's expected, is that on the coach? I said, absolutely. Coach has to read the room. It's his responsibility to make sure everybody's on board. They understand assignments. They know how to execute. But Indiana was not good last night, and I think the fans are going to show their displeasure when that game gets ready to start Saturday at noon. It'll be the pregame. 1 o'clock will be the tip, and Indiana, Michigan will be on WOWO 92.3 FM. Then in the afternoon, we've got Pacers-Lakers. That's a 4 o'clock tip-off on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. That's a lot of sports.
Hey, you know what I've heard? There's a rumor going around that it might be the time for Luka Doncic to make his Lakers debut against the Pacers.
Oh, really?
That's what I've been hearing. It's they're hopeful he could return by then.
Saturday.
Be there.
Well, you know what Sunday is?
What do we got Sunday?
The Super Bowl pregame, then the Super Bowl pregame, then the Super Bowl Insider, then the Super Sunday pregame, and then Super Bowl 59. I think coverage starts at 5 a.m. Not really. Actually, the official time for coverage for the Super Bowl is 2 p.m. right here at 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Your home for coverage of Super Bowl 59.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that, too. You got any big Super Bowl party plans?
Yes.
All right.
No, I don't. I was going to try to come up with something. I couldn't. No, I'm going to do what I always do. I enjoy sports by myself much more than having someone bothering me.
Yeah, yelling at the TV.
I want the remote. It's all.
You want your own choice of food.
Yeah. Kind of narcissistic a little bit, but it's what I plan on doing on Super Bowl Sunday. All right, we got to take a break because we got to wrap things up on the other side. I got to get out to the Coliseum for Mastodons basketball. This is the Sports Rush on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Welcome back to the Sports Rush, your daily local sports fix, 4 to 6. Brett Rump with Adam Lundy. We've always got you connected on the Parkview Sports Medicine text line at 260-447-8500. Once again, with the weather coming in, you might want to be careful if you're heading out on the roads tonight. You want to make sure to take those. What are they? The safety kits. You want to, in case something happens, you have a flight off or anything like that. You want to have all of the stuff that keeps you safe in the car. If you're going to be traveling tonight, it's supposed to be coming in 8, 9, 10 o'clock, something like that. But freezing rain. Also be prepared at home with your flashlights and whatever you're going to need if you do lose power, because there is that possibility with ice accumulating on the trees and on the power lines. So hopefully everybody stays safe tonight.
Yeah, get those candles, get your backup generator out of the garage with the gasoline if you have that. But, yeah, be prepared.
And also big thanks to those that appeared on the show today. What a great show. And, the only one we really had as an outside guest was Sam King. I kept thinking with this show, we must have had more than one, but no, we just had Sam King talking Purdue. So Great day.
Yeah, Sam King was fantastic, but the rest of it was just a bunch of Brett Rump fire, my man.
Yeah, coming up on Friday, by the way, we're going to have a special Best of edition.
Yeah.
With a lot of this week's best content. So we'll have that coming up on Friday because I will be at Northrop for the girls sectional in Class 4A as Northrop takes on Northside in Game 1 and Carroll Snyder Game 2. Then after the 2 games are done, you'll want to join us at the Pine Valley Pizza Hut. That's perfect Friday night nightcap of high school basketball. We'll be out there with scores, highlights, coaches' interviews, and, of course, talking about championship matchups. It'll be Eric Dudkevich, Adam Lundy, and me Friday night live from the Pine Valley Pizza Hut on the Parkview Sports Medicine High School Basketball Postgame Show. All right, we'll wrap it up. I got to get out of here. I got to get to the Coliseum. Mastodons basketball comes your way in about 50 minutes from now. Be sure you're tuned in as the Dons take on Wright State. Mastodons trying to stay in second place in the Horizon League standings. This has been the Sports Rush on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.